Alrighty, YouTubers, I have a video request. Haven't had one of those in a while. Got a subscriber that's having some issues with his MTD lawnmower, whether it's like this one or not. I'm going to show you, whoever needs this video, how to address this, how to figure out where the problem is. First thing we're going to do is do a cold start. It's been sitting for all winter long, hasn't started once. A little full choke. Now let's get this thing. Alright, so I'm using this battery just to start it up, move it, show you guys what's going on here. It's sitting at 13 volts. That's normal for a 12 volt battery. 12 volt battery is actually brand new. They set it about 13.5 volts. That's what I found anyways. But I'll show you a few things that you need to look for. First thing off is to test the charging unit. Make sure it's charging. Now, most lawn tractors, lawn mowers, rideable lawn mowers, they have this window right here. That one's not really visible right now. Let me do this real quick. Throw some oil on there and see if we can get it a little more visible. There we go. Now you can start to see it there. There you go. Now you can kind of see it. Now this should read in the positive while it's running, not in the negative. I believe positive's that way, negative's that way. It just tells you how much power is being charged and used. You know what I mean? You want it a little above zero when you're running. If I am correct, I'm not sure about those exactly, but I'll show you on here. Now this one has one of these on it, but I'm going to be using a Voltmeter. It's from Harbor Freight. Cheap, but it works, you know. If you don't have one of these, it might be handy to pick one up. Let's see. I mean, you can do it off of these, but it's better if you have one of these. You have more exact readings, even the ones from Harbor Freight. So we're going to turn the key on here. It's 13 volts. Key is going on. It's actually reading a little bit more now, 0.2 more. Shut it off, it's still the same. See, now this one, I don't have lights that run off the battery. I actually have lights that run off of a stator in the engine. It has nothing to do with the charging unit. It has its own little piece that runs the lights. And I also don't have an anti-dieseling switch. An anti-dieseling switch goes right here on the bottom of the valve. Right there. Might be able to show you one. I have a lawn tractor that has an anti-dieseling switch, or valve, or whatever you want to call it. It goes right here though, and it stops it. So if you shut the key off and it doesn't stop sparking, or the engine's overheating, sometimes it'll diesel. In other words, they'll run without spark. I've had that happen once on a really old lawn tractor. And it didn't have an anti-dieseling switch, which was fun. But they usually go up under there, so when you turn the switch off, it actually jams this piece up in there and doesn't let any more fuel into the system. Now that can drain your power. I've had that drain power before on my other lawn tractor. Another thing that can drain power, you know, are the lights. Make sure when you shut the key off, the lights are off as well. Mine doesn't have that problem because I have, yeah, you know what I mean. I'm going to stop repeating myself here. Got to get better at doing that. So, what you're going to want to do is hook up your voltmeter. And first thing off we're going to check is the charging unit. Now I'm going to start this up. When it's idling, it's going to stay around 13, you know, might go a little higher than that. And when I start revving it, it's going to peak around 14. I've had them peak at 15. It's a little high, but peaking at 14 is pretty well perfect. So I'll show you that here real quick. As you can see, when I go to start it, it actually takes that battery down. No more throttle. We're going to go up. As you can see, it works there. I had it peaking just a little bit ago when I moved the tractor. When I moved it, I had it peaking up at 14, but that's fine. It's still peaking high enough to where it will charge the battery as long as it's above 12. I like to see it around 13 or 14 for that to charge correctly. Now, we're going to address and try to figure out. So, if that peaks out around 13, if it's peaking out around 12, it's not high enough to charge the battery. Not usually anyways. So we're going to go over here. Now when you turn your key on, you should see that go down. You shut it off, you should see it go a little bit back up. You know, it should go back up to close to what it was sitting at. But if you turn it off and it still stays down, you know, and you unhook the battery and put the probes on just the battery itself, and that goes back up, and then you hook, you know, your negative line back into the battery and that goes down, you know you've got a parasitic drain somewhere. And just to be safe, you know, pull your key out. Make sure there's, you know, it's off and the key's out, and see if that makes any difference. You know, make sure your lights are off. Now, if you still have a parasitic drain, what you're going to do, first thing that I usually do, pull this off the back here. Now, it's pretty hard sometimes. Really be gentle with it. Jiggle back and forth, and it'll slowly come. And pull this piece off the back of the key switch and see if that makes any difference, because I have seen these key switches give out and no longer want to do anything with power. Like, it'll just slowly either be grounding it into the body or just not turning off all the way. And you'll want to look at that and see what it does when you unplug that. Now, if it makes a difference, if it starts to change, replace your key switch. That can very well be the problem there. Now, if it doesn't do anything when you unplug that, then you know you've got bigger issues. So then you go into start unplugging stuff. You know, be looking at the voltmeter or the multimeter, and don't have a charger plugged into the system. So if you have a charger plugged into the system, it won't give you the right readings, or it won't give you enough of a fluctuation to notice. Now, I did change this over from, you know, so now you can see 13.4, you know, 14 instead of 13.1. It's 13.11, you know. So I changed that over. So what you're going to want to start doing, if you have like electronic PTOs, you're gonna want to unplug the back of the switches to those. You know, just one or the other, or both at the same time. You know, unplug those to, you know, the switches to the PTOs. Now I've got a tractor over here. I need to get it going again. It's been sitting for years. It's a V-twin beast. It's been sitting with the air cleaner off. It's not good. Now this has an anti-dieseling switch on it. I can't really see it in there, but it goes right up in the middle. It has one wire coming out. It's normal for one wire to come out because it uses the body of it as the negative. The frame is negative. So if it's just one wire, make sure that one wire isn't touching anything. That can be a problem as well. Now this lawn tractor does not charge itself. It's another reason why I'm not showing you on this this lawn tractor, because the stator or something else is wrong with it, and it just doesn't charge itself. Hasn't since I've gotten it, and I've had it for years. I know how to fix it, I just haven't fixed it. I don't have the time or the money. So I just keep it charged. It works perfectly for what I need it for. But this one has like electronic PTO for the blades. Ooh, that's starting to look wonderful. Didn't look too bad when I got it. But the original PTO switch was right here. This is actually a boat switch, which I actually changed it over to this because the original switch is broken. And the guy I got it from didn't know how to get the PTO to work again. You know, as you can see, my key sits right here. So I got a little chain for it. I never lose it. It's just right here. You know, make sure it's out. But this is now the new PTO switch. That's on. That's off. You're gonna want to come behind here. This was the original plug-in for the PTO, which there's wires there, which I don't know what they go to, which very well could be the charging issue, but I've never been able to figure that out. So here's my, see if we can adjust to light in here. There we go. Now you can see this is the all the plugs to the ignition. This is where my PTO, you know, the replacement PTO switch went, and then it broke, so I just left it there as a fill-in to make it look nicer. And then the new PTO goes up in there. You're going to want to unplug those wires just to see if that changes. If it does, then you're going to want to either replace your PTO or just deal with it. You know, if you unplug those and it changes, even have a second switch or wire it in better into the ignition just to cut all power, you know what I mean? So there's the PTO, there's electronic fuel pumps, which some have. This had a mechanical one which broke, which I could replace, but I had a broken four-wheeler, a junk four-wheeler that I had for parts that I just, you know, threw. It's fuel pump in here, and that's what I used. And I wired that right into the ignition. One quick thing, PTO, an electronic PTO or an electronic clutch. I keep calling it an electronic PTO. They're also electronic clutches. That's what that has. Now, let's see, what else could there be? I'm trying to think here. I've seen some really nice lawn tractors with coil packs. I really don't think that could be a problem. That's really just covering everything there that I can think of. You know, unplug just wires like this right here. This is actually my charging unit, but you know, you never, what if the problem's up in there, or you have a chip that's out or something? Just unplug it and see what it does. Unplug whatever you can. If it's not it, plug it back together. If you unplug it and see a difference, leave it unplugged and trace the wires. See where they go. See if there's any that are cracking, that look old. If you could replace them, do it. See, there's all sorts of wires down here. This is my solenoid right here. It could be a solenoid. It could be leaking power into the solenoid. Not enough to actually make it go click and run the starter, but it could be leaking just enough to make it, try to work. So try unplugging the solenoid. Don't unplug it here. This is directly to the starter, from the battery to the starter. through, you know. There's a little wire. There'll be 1 or 2 wires. This one uses the body as negative, so there's only 1 wire. Unplug them. Unplug one and then the other. If there's 2, try both of them, or both of them at the same time. See if your multimeter changes. See if it fluctuates at all. So that's where I'm going to leave it. If anyone needs further help, PM me or comment on this video. I can make another video. You know, if you want to send me your model number to your lawnmower, I can help you better that way as well. I know what you're working with. I know what you're up against. You know what I mean? So this has been ILS 360. Hopefully I've helped you guys. Hopefully I haven't talked too much. I hope you guys have a good one. This is my 12 horse 38-inch cut. MTD. Nothing special. Runs great. Have a good one, YouTube. See ya. Thanks for watching. If you could give me a thumbs up, that'd be great. See ya. Bye.